So I think now it's pretty obvious that the whole British skier Gus Kenworthy writing "fuck ice" in his own piss at the Olympics wasn't exactly the political crisis for the IOC that it was originally made out to be. But it was a pretty decent reminder and demonstration of how this whole idea of the Olympics and political neutrality is not a moral stance. It's a management tool of various forms of political dissent. The International Olympic Committee likes to present the games as allergic to politics. That idea is actually codified in Rule 50, which supposedly keeps the Olympics neutral. No political statements, no gestures, no symbols. The brand is above the mess of the world. But the Olympics are built out of the world's mess. They are hosted by nation states, secured by militarized police forces and intelligence coordination, funded by multinational sponsors, sustained by billion-dollar broadcast contracts. Every medal ceremony is organized around flags, anthems, and national rankings. The nation state is the core unit of this spectacle, and that isn't neutral, that is structural. Neutrality is the language. It is used to make that structure feel natural rather than political. It reframes political nationalism as tradition. It converts geopolitical alignment into ceremony, and it turns security infrastructure into just background scenery. And it smooths over the fact that a heavily policed, capital-intensive, state-driven event is somehow being presented as universal harmony. And from that perspective, speech is not banned because politics are unwelcome. Speech is curated because the atmosphere has to hold. The Olympics require emotional coherence, pride, inspiration, controlled rivalry, symbolic unity. They depend on sponsor comfort and host state legitimacy and broadcast stability. Anything that fractures that atmosphere in a way that exposes structural contradictions threatens the spectacle itself. And neutrality is how those fractures are managed without admitting that they exist at all. The rule doesn't eliminate politics, it distinguishes politics that integrate seamlessly into the existing global order and politics that reveal its scaffolding. Some messages align cleanly with the dominant geopolitical consensus and sponsor sensibilities. Others draw attention to, borders, policing, occupation, or state violence in ways that strain the image of, harmonious competition. And the difference there is not moral, it's structural. The Olympic Games rely on capital flows to function. Sponsors invest in predictability, emotional resonance, and global market reach. Broadcasters pay for a narrative that can be packaged and sold worldwide. Host states commit enormous resources and security capacity to stage an event that reinforces their national prestige. Neutrality is what assures all of these actors that the spectacle will not turn into open geopolitical confrontation. It is risk management dressed up as principle. The same logic applies to security. Mega events require mass surveillance, crowd control infrastructure, and expanded police powers. Entire cities are reshaped to accommodate a few weeks of global attention. Neutrality converts this coercive scaffolding into public safety, and it renders the force that is necessary to stage these events as invisible. And if the Olympics were openly described as a convergence point of state power, military coordination, and corporate capital, every podium would obviously look different. The flags would read differently. The medal table would feel less like a friendly competition and more like a symbolic rivalry between unequal states embedded in an uneven global system. Neutrality is what keeps that recognition at bay. It allows a deeply political structure to present itself as universal, and it transforms hierarchy into pageantry, and it compresses trade relations, border regimes, military alliances, and diplomatic tensions into a finely choreographed competition and ceremonial unity. And so this kind of speech management is just one part of that choreography. The point is not whether the IOC is consistent. The point is that the spectacle depends on selective visibility. It cannot foreground the conditions that make it possible. So it calls that an invisibility neutrality. And the Olympics do not transcend the global order. They very much stage it. And neutrality is the aesthetic that makes that staging feel like like harmony instead of like power. And that logic doesn't stop with athletics. It's the very same move, just scaled up. The IOC treats people and countries the same way. It manages the risk, smooths out the mess, and keeps the vibes intact. And if the politics are distant, abstract, or already approved, they slide right through. And if they point straight at power while it's happening, everybody suddenly acts normal and keeps clapping. And that's when you realize the Olympics aren't about staying above politics at all. They're about deciding who gets silenced, who gets applause, and who gets quietly wiped out of the picture while the show just keeps on rolling.